My name is Sherry Brandhorst, and I am a cardiac and pulmonary rehab nurse. I see a lot of familiar faces out there. It's good to see you guys. I do remember. I've been working in this department for about the last, I hate to say it, but it's been over 20 years. I changed from working nights in the critical care areas because my kids and that kind of nightlife didn't work very well. So when I saw this opening in cardiac rehab, I jumped on board because it was a Monday through Friday day job. Wow. So I thought it was really great, and I did it for that reason. But as I continued to do it, I simply fell in love with the job. I meet the best people. I'm kind of like Corey. I can't leave. I love all the people I see all the time. And so I love the job. We do a lot of exercise, a lot of education, a lot of psychosocial support for people while they're going through different traumas and different chronic health problems. And so that's kind of my advertisement for cardiac rehab. There's a brochure out front. You do have to have a physician's referral if you want to participate with us, but we would love to have you. So I have always been one that's a little like to exercise. I did sports in high school, and I just have always enjoyed it. I guess I'm one of the lucky ones. I hear some of my patients say they really don't like to exercise. So the title of my talk is Exercise. Why bother? So during our talk today, we'll talk a little bit about the benefits of exercise, some things to help you stay motivated to exercise, how to get started with an exercise program, talk a little bit about heat stress and those kinds of things and how you need to stay well hydrated while you're exercising. Then we'll finish up with a little music. Where's my music man? Music is good for the soul. Music does make you feel better. So we hope to have a little exercise here at the end that everyone can do. So exercise, why bother? Fitness matters. That's why bother. Being fit improves your health. It improves it in a lot of ways, and we'll talk about those as we go through all of this. It decreases the risk of other health problems developing, such as diabetes, coronary artery disease, hypertension, a lot of lung disease problems. They estimate that there's at least 50 million Americans who are too sedentary, who sit too much. That's why we're having such an increase in diabetes, coronary artery disease. I mean, I've been fighting it for 20 years, and my doors, people just keep filing in at work. So I know it's still occurring. There's a lot of cancers that they think are related to that. The biggest one that I've read about recently is that the dementia seems to be related to the more fit you are, the less chance you have of getting dementia. So all kinds of good reasons for decreasing other health problems. If you're decreasing your health problems, you're not going to the doctor so much. And I kind of laugh with some of my patients frequently because I think, gosh, your social life is pretty full. You're going to this doctor and this therapy and this therapy, and trying to fit them in with our therapy. So a healthy lifestyle saves more lives than any medicine ever invented. And I can guarantee you, if I could give you an exercise pill, it would be the most abused drug on the market. You would be taking a lot of it. It would be being prescribed a lot, and manufacturers probably couldn't produce enough for us because it does make you feel better. We're going to talk a little bit about sitting disease. Sitting disease, sedentary lifestyle. Sitting disease, you should not sit more than an hour or two during the day without getting up and moving around. And when I say that, that doesn't mean you go from the TV couch to the computer screen, you know, unless your house is really large. It's kind of like I used to tell my kids, no screens, go do something else, turn it off. And if I wasn't watching, they would just go from downstairs to upstairs to the computer. You know, it's like that doesn't count. But we should try to increase our exercise and prevent that sitting disease from occurring to keep us a little more healthy and on top of things. I could give you more than this on why you should exercise. These are just a few reasons that I picked out. The first three, any of those three is going to help lower coronary artery disease. Exercise lowers your blood pressure after you're done. Okay, it's very common for exercise to cause your blood pressure to go up while you're exercising. So in cardiac rehab, we check exercising blood pressures. And a lot of times people will go, it's so high. Yeah, you're exercising, you're exerting, and that's what your body's doing so your blood pressure or your everything works. Provides the oxygen, the nutrients that your muscles need, and it does it by increasing your blood pressure. So definitely it's going to increase your blood pressure while you're exercising. And then as you recover, cool down, sit 5-10 minutes, you're going to see these wonderful blood pressures. I'll tell a little story on my dad. My dad has an airplane pilot's license. He lives in the Midwest. He called me one day and he said, they said my blood pressure's too high, I can't have my pilot's license. And I said, well, Dad, that's a bit of a problem, but I can help you get over this hump. And then you got to go to the doctor and deal with it. But here's what you do. You go to the office. I want you to walk the 4 blocks around the doctor's office twice. Go in, sit down. He goes, that'll make my blood pressure go up too much. And I said, Dad, trust me on this one. You sent me to school. Trust me on this one. And he said, okay, I'll go do that. So he did, and then he said, wow, that worked. My heart rate was down, my blood pressure was down, everything. They said that was a lot better. So he got his airplane license, and then I had to make him go to the doctor. But it does lower your blood pressure. Not for, you got to do it every day to keep it down, but it does help. It lowers your cholesterol. Cholesterol is got several different components to that number. You've got your total cholesterol, you've got HDLs, LDLs, and a bunch of other things. Exercise increases the HDLs, that's your good cholesterol. You want that number to be as high as possible. So exercising at a higher intensity for a longer time will help with lowering your cholesterol. Of course, when you're exercising, you use a lot more calories, expends a lot more energy, so you burn more fat cells too. It improves your immune system. People who are physically fit and are active are not as sick as often. So it definitely improves your immune system. We talked a little bit about decreasing the risk of chronic diseases. Helps with depression, anxiety, stress. When you exercise, you release those wonderful things called endorphins. These things make you feel good. It's a dopamine thing in your brain, makes you feel good. So you lose that feeling of depression. The anxiety, a lot of times anxiety and stress is because we have too much adrenaline running in our body right now. When that happens, you feel very anxious. You get that stressed feeling. If you have time and can, if you will go for a walk or ride a bike or do some type of exercise for a little bit, it will calm you down. It will bring you back down. Singing a song will help with that too. Music is good. A lot of times we have stressful days at work or we have stressful situations happen and we feel absolutely exhausted and we feel like we can't, there's no way I could go for a 20-minute walk. A lot of times if you will get the courage on to get the shoes on and go, you will feel so much better. And it's because your body's overloaded with the adrenaline. So if you will go ahead and go for that slow walk, it'll burn that adrenaline off and you'll feel a lot better when you get back to your house. All of these things are going to help increase your confidence, your energy levels. One of the big things as we get older is falling, injuries, tripping on stairs, curbs, all of those kinds of things. The stronger you are, the better your balance. And we're going to talk about some exercises that you can do to improve your balance in a little bit. But the stronger you can be, especially your core, and when I say core, it's like from your shoulders to your hips. this trunk area. The stronger it can be, the better your balance is. Of course, if you're exercising and you're tired, you're going to sleep better. But it has been proven that people who are physically fit and exercise sleep better. Decreases visits to the doctors, and it reduces your risk of dementia. Now, I could end this talk with the next slide, because now if you read this, you're going to say, well, yeah, I want to do that. Physical fitness is the ability to carry out daily tasks with vigor and alertness without undue fatigue and with ample energy to enjoy leisure time pursuits and meet unforeseen emergencies. A lot of words, but it sounds pretty good, doesn't it? If you could go do everything you wanted to do with ample energy and still have time for your leisure pursuits and be ready for any stumbles or things that might happen. Right there is why we need to be physically fit. That's the benefit of being physically fit. Those unforeseen emergencies, people who are physically fit, who have a health problem, be it pneumonia, cardiac arrest, any type of surgery, you heal faster, you do better. You just have more reserve and things just come together a lot better. Now, what's the difference between physical activity and exercise? Because I get this question all the time. I'm active at home, but I don't really exercise. Which is good. Being active at home is good. The only difference in the definition of those two things is planned. Exercise time usually needs to be a planned time. Being active is what we do because that's what we have to do, right? You know, you have to go to the store, you have to mow your yard, you have to. But exercise is, I'm planning to do my exercise. It's a planned activity for a certain period of time. So you're all ready to start an exercise program now, right? How do you begin? How do you begin? First, probably ought to talk to your healthcare provider and see if they have any problems with what you're deciding to do. Follow any of their guidelines that they give you. I would encourage you, if you have not been exercising at all, you need to start very slowly and work up. We don't know how sore the exercise is going to make us until the next day, right? Or if you do a lot of yard work, pull a lot of weeds, a lot of those activities, and then the next day you can barely get out of bed. Yeah, so that's why start slow, start easy. If you don't hurt the next day, then you can add a little more, do a little more. But always make sure that you pace yourself and start slow and easy. Always wear appropriate clothing, and I say that because if it's hot outside, don't wear a whole bunch of layers. If it's raining, probably shouldn't go outside, but try to wear the appropriate clothing for the exercise that you're doing. Always know you can stop and rest if you get tired. It's not a bad thing to stop and rest. We do interval training sometimes in the gym, so we don't let them really stop and rest, but they get to really coast and slow down for a little bit before we speed them back up. So that's always good to do too. So it's not bad to stop and rest if you need to. Make sure you drink plenty of water. We'll talk a little bit more about hydration in a little bit, but make sure you drink plenty of water before, during, and after. You know what, I was in high school a long time ago now. They didn't allow us to drink water. You didn't drink water during practices. It was for the weak. Water was for the weak. Now we get to drink water. And always watch for signs of overexertion, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. I got to sit in the back and try to pull myself together and calm myself down to do this talk. And I thought, I'm going to start looking at people's shoes, because we're going to talk a little bit about shoes when you exercise. I was quite impressed. There's a lot of you who have good shoes on. That is a huge thing to prevent falls and to help with your balance, and it's good for your feet. So how much exercise should you do? You do have a handout about that. The American Heart Association says that we all need to be doing at least 150 minutes of exercise a week. So 5 times a week, 30 minutes a time. If you want those benefits of lower cholesterol, lower heart rate, and fat loss, you're probably going to have to do 45 minutes at a higher intensity if you want those true benefits for that. But it's still really good if we just strive to get 150 minutes of exercise a week. You'd still need to do some strength training a couple of days a week, because the stronger we can keep this upper body, the better off we are. We can get up out of chairs, we can get up out of the bathtub, we can continue driving, we can carry our groceries in. There's just a lot of things you can do if your upper body stays strong. So it's important not only to do some walking or biking or something with your legs, but to keep that upper body as strong as possible too. So a lot of times I see people and I get them really excited about starting an exercise plan. But after a week or two, it's not so fun anymore. And it's kind of a drag to go to the gym. Gyms love people who pay and don't go to the gym. So how do we stay motivated to continue to exercise? You know, I think, wow, if I paid for a gym, I'd certainly go. That would be a big motivator for me, is the money thing. But sometimes it's just too hard to get to the gym. So staying motivated, try different activities, all kinds of different things. We are lucky. We live in an area where we're not dodging tornadoes and a lot of that flooding and all of those things that we're seeing across our country. But we can get outside and do a lot of things. And remember, exercise is planned. Activity is doing what we just have to do. But trying to plan some exercise time to stay motivated to exercise. So you do a lot of different things. One of the handouts that you have out there is 10 ways to get exercising. The first thing you should do is create a goal. Do you want to do 30 minutes 5 days a week? Is that more than you want to start? What's my goal in this? And then you can even carry it out further. Maybe it's, I want to dance with my granddaughter at her wedding. Then maybe you should work towards that. But create a goal. That'll help you keep going. Make an appointment time to work out. Put it on your calendar. This is my time. Nobody gets to bother me during this time. It is kind of a peaceful time. Once you get in the habit of that, you're going to be upset if somebody messes up your exercise time. That's my time. That's my time. So try to set this an appointment to work out. And remember, exercising every day or at least 5 days a week and not participating in the sedentary lifestyle is a lot like taking a shower, brushing your teeth. It's what we have to do to take care of ourselves. You can put taking your medicine right in that same category. It's daily activities that we need to do every day to maintain our health. For some people, finding a workout partner or joining a group, that makes it easier for them to go exercise. They know that person's waiting on them at the corner, or, hey, we'll do this and then we'll go for a cup of coffee. You wouldn't get the stuff with a lot of sugar in it though, right? No, yeah. Okay, but you need to find a workout buddy. That might help. Sign up for different groups of fitness. We're lucky here. There's a lot of senior centers around. There's a Fun Fit and Over 50 group. There's community health classes at the Healthplex if you need something different to do. There's line dance lessons in town. I know there's places you can join that. There's Tai Chi, yogas. You can even do kickboxing. We've got some Parkinson patients that are participating in kickboxing. So it's doable. Things are doable. Of course, you can bike, run. That's hard on your joints. But you can walk outside. We have beautiful parkways, paths. Use them. Get out and use those things. Another good thing to do to keep you on task and keep you motivated to exercise is to track your progress. You know, I don't see him in here, so I'll tell this story. We had a grumpy little guy come through cardiopulmonary rehab. And he was a pulmonary patient, and pulmonary patients do a 6-minute walk test. How far can you walk in 6 minutes before, and how many feet can you walk after you've completed our program as you get towards the end of the program? And he sat down, I was getting everything ready for that final test, and he said, "This didn't help me at all. I'm still short of breath." I said, "Well, let's just see how you do on this." He goes, "Well, it ain't gonna be better." I said, "Well, let's just see how you do on this." So he did it, and I sat down and I said, "Look, you walked 2 more laps than you did before. Your O2 saturations are better, your heart rate's better, and your blood pressure's better." He said, "Well, I'm still short of breath." I said, "You're short of breath now because you just walked fast." But anyway, so, you know, it does work. Exercise, you can exercise, and it does make you stronger. It does make you more fit. It will make you feel better. On your handout, there's a little clip art there that I love this. "Nothing tastes as good as being fit feels." So think about that. You know, and we have to talk a little bit about shoes. Shoes are important. Non-skid surface, you don't want to slip and fall when you're out walking. Try to wear shoes that lace up or are good supportive shoes. Our feet take a beating. I don't wear cute little sandals anymore because I've been a nurse for 33 years and my feet are tired. They want support in the shoe, so I put support in the shoe. So know your body, know your limitations on that, but your feet are important. Take care of them. If you get home and you see that your feet are really red in one area, perhaps your shoe's rubbing on it, you don't want to get blisters, so you may need to change your shoes. Shoes don't last forever, so you may need to rotate them out and get new shoes to keep that going. Spice up your closet. Get some exercise clothes. Man, we had one lady, she wore a different outfit every day. She looked better than the rest of us. Don't blame the cost of a gym or exercise equipment as an excuse to not exercise. There are other ways you can without paying, but just remember there are some pretty good things in the Tri-Cities that don't cost very much. I think Planet Fitness is what, $10 a month? I think, and I don't even think they have much for joining fees, and I'm not, you know, there's a lot of them that aren't real expensive. If you don't need the pool, and you don't need the racket court, and you don't need the tennis courts, and you don't need the group classes, there's a lot of well-priced exercising places in the Tri-Cities. Senior Center is really good too. CBC has a program for people over 55, I think, or 65, that you can go to CBC and use their equipment, and that's a really good deal too. Always, music helps. Music helps. We play loud music in the gym, but music helps. Music will help you get through that exercising time. Sing along if you can. That's a way you would know if you're working too hard. If it's too hard to sing while you're doing it, you're probably doing a little, you could slow down a little bit. Always remember to track your progress. That will help. And if you want to create some goals, some rewards, try not to use food as a reward, but try to maybe get a new book or a new fitness app on your phone, new Fitbit, any of those little fun gizmos that we have out there anymore. But all these ideas are to help you stay motivated to continue. And once you make it a habit, you're going to want to continue with your exercising. Fall prevention. My coworker, who was supposed to be here today to help me with this, got stuck in Dallas last night. So this is kind of her part. She goes around and talks a lot to different groups about fall prevention. One of the big things, though, is to stay active, be physically fit, stay connected. You guys are good. You have a good connection here with Healthy Ages, but stay connected, stay social, try to stay in groups as much as you can. It's good for you. Exercise is going to increase your balance and flexibility. I have to say a little bit about balance here. As we get older, balance becomes a little harder. You know, we watch little kids spin in circles and then they just run in a straight line and all is good, and we can't do that anymore. As we get older, things don't work quite as well as they used to. You have these little fine hair-like projections in your inner ear that sometimes affect our ability to exercise or to not get dizzy. So if you have any inner ear problems, you may have a problem with your balance. If you have weak core strength, you may have a problem with your balance. If you have vision problems, you may have problems with your balance. If you have neuropathy problems in your feet, you're going to have a problem with your balance. Know that that is a problem, and so I need to work a little more on it. I need to work a little harder on my balance. Use curbs and stairs safely. Somehow I left the safely off of that. Yeah, so look at the curbing, look at the sidewalk cracks, you know, kind of be aware of your surroundings, know what you have to do and how you're going to do it. The shoes, once again, comes up. I like shoes, but you have to have good shoes to keep you from stubbing your toe or from losing your flip-flop. Moving objects from place to place is a big problem for people, especially if you're carrying it here and you can't see your feet or what you may kick, the dog toy or the dog or something left lying on the floor. So look at your pathway before you start to walk. Pick up the object carefully. You can always put it in a smaller container and make more trips. I know that doesn't sound fun, but try to do what you can to prevent the fall, because prevention is better than the actual problem occurring. So that's another benefit you have of continuing to exercise. They asked me to talk a little bit about heat stress. Oops. You can overheat, and it's pretty easy here in the Tri-Cities to get out and overheat. We tell our patients, don't go outside and walk if it's over 80, and don't go outside and walk if it's less than 40. But sometimes you get stuck outside doing something and it is just too hot. So what happens? You begin to sweat a lot. You may get some muscle cramps occurring, little red bumps on your skin start to occur, or feeling irritable or weak. Those are all kinds of problems that could be related to I am just too hot. Rapid heartbeat may be occurring. Just know that those are kind of things that you need to watch for, but once again, it's better to prevent it and try not to go outside if it's that hot. If it happens, the best thing to do is to sit down and try to find rest in a cool, shady place. Remove any excess coats, layers that you might have, shoes, socks, anything like that. A fan and having somebody fan you off, get some cold water going. Those kinds of things will always help. If it doesn't resolve quickly, then that's an indication that you might need to consider going to the emergency room, and I know nobody likes to do that. Just remember though, prevention is the best, so try not to walk outside on those really hot days. And always remember to stay well hydrated. You know, for years we said you need to drink 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day. That's a lot of water. Anybody successful at that? Some people can. Some of us can't. So things to watch for with hydration. And if any of you are on a fluid restriction from your doctor, make sure you follow that fluid restriction. But if you have a dry, sticky mouth, you're really thirsty, headache, kind of drowsy, dozy, not having the best day, a lot of times a bottle of water will help. So you can always try that. You haven't been to the bathroom for a long time, that's kind of an indicator. if you're not sweating, then you're really dehydrated. And you may have even noticed that you have some muscle weakness. You know, some days when I go to the gym and it's really hard for me to work out, I start thinking, what did I eat? How did I fuel? And what's my water? Because those are two things that if you don't have the right fuel, you're not going to be able to do the right work. So always be thinking about those things if you're not feeling the best. So it really is the magic medicine. Being physically fit really is important in our lives. So we're ready to practice some exercises. You don't have to stand or anything for this. Some of you know what's coming. Now this is going to be a little interesting, but we're going to do a little sing-along here. No, we're not going to sing yet. That's later. We're going to do what we do kind of in cardiac rehab. Yeah, this is going to work. We'll get it going. But we're going to do some things that we do in cardiac rehab, and this counts as exercise.
8 o'clock rock. 9,
Here, you hold that.
11 o'clock,
You hold that.
rock, we're gonna rock.
Punching bag. If your shoulders allow it, overhead scissors. Okay, cross punch it. Okay, we're going to swim. Kathy would die. She's a good swimmer. You have a list of all of these too. Rock the baby. Okay, climb the mountain. Climbing a mountain. Arm roll. Didn't we have one of those things? Round the world. Paint the fence. And we'll end with sand the floor. So that's called Armorcise, and it incorporates some music, and it's kind of fun to watch people do it at the gym that they really kind of get into the beat of it. But you can pick your favorite song, go through all of those motions. If you went through every motion for 30 seconds, you'd have about a 12-minute exercise time right there. So pick 2 or 3 good songs that you enjoy and go for it. I gave you another handout that's kind of on the same thing, but you can do it with your legs. And you can do those movements sitting or standing. Get you some good music, some good toe tapping music, and you just start moving the feet. And you can do it sitting or standing. So exercise is the magic medicine. And we do need to make sure we make time for it every day for our own well-being. Thanks for coming.